What is up, everybody? Welcome into my live stream. We are going to be talking fantasy football today, specifically Monday night football preview. So come away with your fantasy football questions. Ask me as many questions as you want, and let's get this chat rolling. I think we're going to see a good game tonight. We've got two teams who are good on both sides of the ball. We've got a lot of fantasy implications in tonight's game, so I'm definitely excited to watch. I know you guys are as well. So come at me with your fantasy football questions, specifically lineup questions for tonight, and stuff like that. And we are going to get this chat going. How are we doing today? How are we doing? What's up, everybody? I see we got a few of you rolling in. Ask me your fantasy football questions, an unlimited amount of fantasy football questions, and I will answer. And we'll get this chat rolling. How y'all doing today? Just waiting for some people to roll in. What's up, everybody? Ask me anything. Waiting for some of you to roll on in, and I'll be answering all fantasy football questions. We can talk about yesterday's slate of games or tonight's game, whatever it is you want to talk about. Just waiting for some more of you to roll in so we can get this going. I'm an open book. Ask me anything. Ask away. Fantasy football questions. What's up? I see we got a few of you rolling in. Ask away any fantasy football questions you might have. We are talking Monday Night Football. So tonight's game, what lineup questions do you have? Questions about CMC, anything like that? Just waiting for some people to roll in. Come in and ask me your fantasy football questions. Should have some people joining here shortly, I'd hope. What's up, everybody? What fantasy football questions do you have? File on in, everybody. Ask away. As many questions as you want. What's up? I see we got some more people rolling in. Ask away any fantasy football question you have about tonight's game, this week's games, whatever you want. Fire it up in the chat and let's get this thing rolling. How are we doing today? So, what's up, everybody? I see we got some more of you rolling in. Fire away any fantasy football question you may have. Let's get this chat section rolling. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Hit me with your fantasy football questions and let's get this rolling. What's up, everybody? Come at me with any fantasy football question you may have. Christian, what's up, buddy? What are your thoughts on Amon-Ra, and should I get Mixon and Debo if I can for him? I would not trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Joe Mixon, no. Mixon and Debo, yeah, if you're going to be getting Mixon and Debo, then yes. I mean, because Debo is only a slight downgrade from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously Joe Mixon got an insane opportunity share in this last game. So if you're getting both those players for Amon-Ra St. Brown, then yes, I would go ahead and pull that trigger on the trade. And I would have said that even before the season started, even before Amon-Ra busted in week 1. That is a great trade. So, yeah, if you're getting the Mixon and Debo Samuel end of it, go ahead and smash that trade. Or Kyren and DJ Moore. I would much rather have Mixon and Amon-Ra than Kyren and DJ. Or, I'm sorry. I would much rather have Mixon and Debo than Kyren and DJ Moore, 100%. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. DJ Moore is in a crowded wide receiver room. I really don't like the fact that they're going to be spreading the ball around. I mean, Keenan Allen had 11 targets. He out-targeted DJ Moore in this past game. So, I don't know. Got a big parlay, bro. Hoping for the best. Yeah, man, I hope you hit it. Let me know what it is. You can drop it in the comments and tell me what parlay you got going. And I'll let you know what I think. I'll be honest if I think it's going to hit or not, or if I think it has a good chance. What's your thoughts on Mixon? I think he's RB1, and I think he has top 3 upside. I don't think he has top 3 upside. I think people are maybe overreacting a little bit to week 1. I don't really think that he's going to come out and get 30 carries ever again. It was very much because of the game script. This is still going to be a pass-first offense. Now, granted, he is facing light boxes because of all the attention on the wide receivers in this offense. But I certainly think that week 1 is going to be one of his best weeks of the entire season. I think he has like top 7-ish upside for sure. And I definitely think he's an RB1, like maybe like a mid-range RB1, but I don't think he has top 3 overall upside from a season-long perspective, mainly because of the fact that he's not going to be getting that many carries going forward. I mean, I can see 20, maybe 21 carries a game, but his workload in this game was astronomical. It was so Mixon or Kyren. That's tough. You know, obviously before the season starts, everyone's going to say Kyren Williams, but I don't know. I'm going to go Joe Mixon. I think Kyren is more of like a high-end running back 2 this year, whereas Mixon is more of a mid-range running back 1. CMC, anytime Wilson over 4.5. CMC, anytime. Wilson over 4.5 receptions. Ayuk 40 yards. Debo 30 yards. The over-under on Debo is only 30 yards. Breeze 50 rushing. I like Breeze 50 rushing. Kittle 30 yards. And both get 200 passing. Well, those bets certainly correlate very well. Okay, what's your thoughts on? No. Christian, here's the thing about this. You can ask as many questions as you want. And as long as I am able to, I answer everyone's questions. So you can ask away. What are my thoughts on Debo? And sorry, I think Debo Samuel is going to have a monster season. I mean, obviously he's in an offense that's projected to be a top 5 overall offense in the NFL, and he's still the main weapon in this offense. And if you look at the fact that Christian McCaffrey's banged up, you've got to figure they're going to be using Debo a little bit more in the running game just to take some of the workload off Christian McCaffrey. So considering he's going into tonight a little bit banged up, and they're probably not going to give him his full workload, look for Debo to run the ball a little bit as well, and look for that to be kind of the narrative this season. If Christian McCaffrey's kind of on and off the field or playing not at 100%, Debo's going to get more work in the backfield. That means more targets are going to be vacated, and that means Debo Samuel's going to get even more targets. If you look at the season where Christian McCaffrey got when he first went to the 49ers, Debo was still being used as a running back. So I still think they plan on using him in the backfield. I did some alternate lines, put 100 on it. Debo's regular line is 52. Yeah, I was about to say 30 seems a little bit low. I was like, damn. All right, we got some more people rolling in. Ask away any fantasy football question you might have. I'm here to answer every single thing in the comment section. My team is in a bad place right now, bro. Okay, you've listed your team for me before, and I don't remember what it is. List it out for me, and I'll let you know like what I think you can do and like what moves I think you need to make. That didn't seems like. Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like we come into the season and we have these like thoughts on like who we think the backup running backs are going to be. And oftentimes it ends up like being somebody else than what we expect. Yeah. Drop your whole roster, bro. I'll let you know what yeah, go ahead. Man, I'm excited about tonight's game, bro. I got a lot of my matchups coming down to tonight. Welcome in, everybody. I see we got some more people filing in. Ask away as many fantasy football questions as you want. I'm getting around to everything in the chat, so ask away, and I got you. Welcome in. Welcome in. How we doing today, everybody? How we doing? What questions we got about week one? All right, Andre's team. We got Hurts, Jacobs, St. Brown, Hurts, Kyron, Jacobs, St. Brown, Andrews, Flex, Reed, Bench, Benson, Jalen Wright, Dowdle, Hall. Honestly, man, like this team is fine. Like you just had a bad week one. I mean, obviously both Kyron and Josh Jacobs underperformed. I think that literally every player on your roster here that had a bad week one, besides Christian Kirk and maybe Mark Andrews, are due for a bounce back. If you look at Kyron, he's probably due for a bounce back. I know for a 100% fact that Josh Jacobs is going to bounce back in a major way, especially considering the fact that they're going to be leaning on him more in the offense with no Jordan Love. And even when Jordan Love comes back, that's only going to improve the overall efficiency of the offense. So look for Josh Jacobs to bounce back, bro. Also, St. Brown, I'm not even remotely worried about St. Brown. St. Brown, he proved it all last year. He's proved it since being in the league. This dude has been an absolute touchdown machine and a PPR monster since coming into the league. Do not let one bad game scare you away from Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was kind of a weird game in general. I don't want to let Amon-Ra St. Brown scare you away, or I don't want you to get scared away from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Christian Kirk and Mark Andrews, however, I'm not so sure about them, but I wasn't sure on them going into the season, so that might be a slight contributing factor as to why I don't think they're going to bounce back, is because I really wasn't that big into them going into week one. Benson, Jalen Wright, Dowdle. Yeah, I mean, obviously with hamstring injuries, they are notorious for lingering throughout an entire season. So that is a little bit scary, but I don't want to come out and just outright say that T. Higgins is for sure going to be having a lingering injury all season long, because you know how unpredictable injuries are. They're all case by case. Some players handle injuries better than others, and sometimes hamstring injuries linger, but sometimes they don't. So it's not necessarily one of those things where T. Higgins is going to be hampered all year, although it certainly could be. Welcome in, everybody. He's on a contract here, too. I'm expecting a big season from him. I hope that he's able to be healthy for a majority of the year for you, my man. I do. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I'm like the Jacksonville offense has underperformed for a year and some change now. I mean, like they were supposed to be good ever since they had Trevor Lawrence, and they've just never really lived up to expectations. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Week one is weird though, bro. Like Christian Kirk could always bounce back, but like I don't have a whole lot of confidence in him, to be honest with you. I'm just not that big of a Christian Kirk guy. I really didn't like the contract they gave him to begin with. I mean, like, they paid him like he was freaking Devontae Adams. And I was just like, well, what is this? I don't know. If we see a sharp decline in Christian Kirk production this year, I wouldn't be all that surprised. Yeah, it's kind of hard because, like, you want to sell your players high, and you had an underperforming week one. So, like, I think your best move right now is to just hold the players that you have because, I don't know, man. Like, you really don't have anybody to sell high on because you had such a down week one. I'm trying to see if there's anybody on your – I mean, the only thing you can do is, like, trade Jayden Reed for, like, an extreme, like try to rip someone off, right? Like, Jayden Reed, like, oh, is Puka really out 4 weeks? Wow. I didn't know that he was out that long. Yeah, DeMarcus Robinson's certainly going to be the wide receiver 2 in the offense. I was telling people to get DeMarcus Robinson all offseason long. I have a ton of them in underdog drafts. Give me some potential Reed trades I should go for. Okay, so, like, when it comes to Jayden Reed, like, you definitely want to get greedy because he had a monstrous week one. So you're not going to be trading him unless somebody gives you something, like, really good. And I would aim for someone like Marvin Harrison Jr., even though he had a bad week one, bro. Trust me, from a season-long standpoint, I trade Jayden Reed for MHJ in a heartbeat because MHJ is still going to be the wide receiver 1 in his offense. He's still going to see 9 or 10 targets most weeks. It's a fluky week one. It typically takes rookies time to get going. And Jordan Love isn't even going to be there for the next, like, month, right? And then when he comes back, it's not a guarantee that Jayden Reed goes off like that every week. It's a split distribution of the target share between all these players in this offense. Some weeks it's going to be Christian Watson. Some weeks it's going to be Romeo Doubs. Some weeks it's going to be Wicks. I wouldn't base everything off week one and get too excited about Jayden Reed. He's not startable until Love comes back. And even when Love comes back, I bet you that week one was his best game of the season. Whereas Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to get you a safer floor and a higher ceiling from a season-long perspective. So there's that. Maybe you could try to get an Alvin Kamara or a Kenneth Walker. I know that Kenneth Walker is a little bit banged up right now, so we want to be careful on that. But Jayden Reed for Alvin Kamara is a good trade. Jayden Reed for Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good trade. Who's your quarterback? Oh, Hurts. Never mind. You don't need to upgrade your quarterback. Yeah. And I know, like, it doesn't look like you want to trade for Marvin Harrison Jr., like, after that week one, but trust me, bro, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a beast. I wouldn't even worry about it. It's 1 week. There was so much hype regarding this guy coming into the league. We know how good he is. We can't let week one scare us away. And I would go after Marvin Harrison Jr. for sure. And he's got his quarterback. Jayden Reed doesn't even have his quarterback right now. So, there you go. I am concerned about Chris Olave. I mean, obviously the Saints – oh, yeah, Reed for Marvin straight up in a heartbeat. And people will do this right now, right? And, like, I know right now it seems like it's not the best move, but that's the whole concept behind selling high is you're going to be selling players that it might be a little bit uncomfortable to sell because they had such a good week, but that's why you're able to sell them high. And, like, think about this. Coming into the season, if you tried to trade someone Jayden Reed for Marvin Harrison straight up, 0% out of 100 people would make that trade. And now, like, 70 out of 100 people would make that trade just because of week one. And when you look back on the season, you're not even going to remember week one. There's so much that's going to happen between now and then that, like, you're not even going to remember week one at the end of the season. So Marvin Harrison Jr., he's a smash play. Yes, I would trade Reed for Marvin Harrison straight up in a heartbeat. How does everybody else feel about that? Reed for Marvin straight up, or is Marvin Harrison Jr. just going to be a bust? He's not going to be a bust. I just want to see what people think. All fantasy football questions, everybody. Ask away. Ask as many as you want. What about tonight's game? What do y'all think about tonight's game? Oh, Daniel Jones absolutely terrible. That's why, like, everyone was so big on Malik Neighbors, and I was just like, okay, like, he has probably the worst quarterback in the NFL, or one of, maybe not the worst. There's probably some worse ones, but one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, throwing him the ball. So do I think tonight's game is going to be high scoring? No. I mean, like, I think that both teams have good offenses, but they also are they're great on both sides of the ball. Typically, early in the season, defenses trump good offenses. So I think this game's going to be like in the 20s, something like 27-24 or something like that. If it's higher scoring than that, I will be happy because I like high scoring games because there's more fantasy output. But thoughts on Drake London? Drake London, wow. I did not like him going in the second round. That's for sure. So considering the fact that he went way too early in drafts to begin with, I think that he was a wasted fantasy pick. And now I think that people are already seeing that in week one. Kirk Cousins is not just going to, like, all of a sudden. Yeah, I know. I never thought he was a second rounder either. But yeah, see, it's hard not to fall into what the consensus is doing sometimes. But yeah, you always got to trust your gut. You always got to. I've learned to trust my gut over just like if 99% of the industry thinks something and I'm like the 1% that doesn't, I still go with my own instincts. So that's kind of a lesson learned. I learned it a long time ago, and I always go with my own instincts. And data. Yeah, Ramondre might have a big year, bro. I don't know, like he's in a bad offense, obviously. But like he's just getting so many targets out of the backfield, and he's such an efficient runner, and he always has been. Ever since he's taken over the running back one role in New England, he's been good, except for last year. Last year, they just had absolutely terrible quarterback play. Now they're going to have inevitably better quarterback play this season, even though I'm not saying they have an ace quarterback or anything like that, but it's certainly an upgrade from what they had last year with Mac Jones. So Ramondre is going to be better this year than he was last year, undoubtedly, just because the offense gets at least a little bit of a bump. In this other league, I'm thinking about packaging Ramondre and Reed for a monster running back. Ramondre and Reed for a monster running back. That better be a super monster running back because I still do like Jayden Reed. Yes, I would trade him for Marvin Harrison Jr. and I like Ramondre too, but I think that his ceiling's a little bit capped because the offense isn't going to be that great. So if you're going to trade Ramondre Stevenson and Jayden Reed, you better get a super monster running back like Bijan or something. Like shoot for the sky. Look for a running back that had kind of a bad week one. Maybe Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor had a bad week one, and I'm not that big on Jonathan Taylor this year, but if I could trade Ramondre Stevenson and Jayden Reed for Jonathan Taylor, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Ask away, everybody. Fantasy football questions. As many questions as you want. I just got the news that Puka's out for 4 weeks. It just now popped up on my desktop. Would you trade White and Reed for Pacheco and Ayuk? Would I trade White and Reed for Pacheco and Ayuk? In about 2 seconds. If you like winning, make that trade. Yes, sir. Huge fan of the show. I have the option of trading Worthy for London. Should I do it? Honestly, dude, I don't think so. And a lot of people are going to think this is crazy because Drake London went in round 2. But I was telling everybody to avoid Drake London, like, going into the season. I mean, I would rather have if you look at both players' talent, like, is Drake London that much better of a wide receiver than Xavier Worthy? Like, really ask yourself that. And then, like, he has Pat Mahomes throwing him the ball. So, like, do you want Pat Mahomes throwing your guy the ball or do you want Kirk Cousins throwing your guys the ball? I wouldn't trade Xavier Worthy for Drake London. And a lot of people are going to say that's crazy considering the draft capital that people spent on Drake London and the fact that you got Xavier Worthy in like round 6 or round 8, depending on where you were drafting. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't trade him for Drake London. And many people will disagree with that, but I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it is a hard trade. Yeah, Captain Joe King, appreciate you coming in. Good to see you. Why didn't JSN for Pacheco? Oh, yeah, dude. In a heartbeat. To me, Rachaad White is nothing. Rachaad White he ran the ball 15 times for 31 yards. I mean, the dude is ridiculously inefficient. He was obviously saved by what he did in the passing game with 7 receptions for 76 yards. Yes, you should try to get rid of Rachaad White. And JSN isn't that big of a piece. you're upgrading massively at the running back position and giving up somebody at wide receiver that probably won't even make a big enough difference for you to like even win you a week this season. So yeah, I'm doing that trade in a heartbeat. So is that trade on the table, or is like that just something you're thinking of? Help me with this trade. Here's my bench. Can package any of these guys with White. JSN, Reed, Ramondre, Chase. All right, so you're trying to package them with White to get Pacheco, JSN, Reed, Ramondre, Chase, Brown. Honestly, all those other players are way more valuable than Drake London. So, are way more valuable than JSN. So, like, do the JSN side of it. The initial trade you proposed to me is by far and away the best offer, if you ask me. So I would do that. File on in, everybody. As many fantasy questions as you want to ask. Puka injury kind of screwed me. Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, I didn't like Puka being taken in the first round anyway. I thought he was being a little bit overdrafted considering the inevitable bounce back of Cooper Kupp being healthy this year. You know, Cooper Kupp's going to dominate targets in this offense. Even when Puka comes back healthy, the best case scenario is him and Cooper Kupp having an equal target share. So he's not going to be as much of a target hog as he was last year. So I really didn't like him going in round one, but it does suck. Oh, you got him late second. Oh, okay. That's a good value. Late second that's a great value, actually. I just didn't like him going in round one. Like middle of round two to late round two is kind of where I think Puka should go. More like middle of round two. So actually, you got a good value late in the second round. Puka looked good though. He raked in. Yeah. No, Puka is money, bro. But him and Cooper Kupp are both money. Both of them. I want every bit of both wide receivers. What do you want to go for Bijan with? Like, what are you thinking of trading for Bijan? Because it's got to be a lot. People aren't going to trade Bijan for a whole lot of players, so it's got to be something really good. Well, yeah, Mehmet, yeah, that's going to be tough. Hold on, let me look at your bench again. JSN, Reed, Ramondre, Chase Brown, Purdy, and London. I think try to sell the Jayden Reed hype. Like maybe Rachaad White and Jayden Reed, and try to sell Jayden Reed right now because like he's not going to have the same week 2 as he did week 1. There's no way that without Jordan Love, he comes out and matches that production. So like if you're going to sell Jayden Reed, you've got to do it now. So I would sell that 31-point performance or whatever he had right now with Rachaad White for Bijan. I don't know if people are going to do that, but it's the best chance you have of trading those players for Bijan Robinson. Yeah, sell the hype, bro. He just went he went nuclear. You could probably get a lot for Jayden Reed right now. I think he's one of the best sell highs in fantasy right now, actually. Not that I don't like the guy, I just like his perceived value is higher right now than his actual value. Yeah, I thought Hurts was your starter. This must be another league. Yeah, I mean, let's see how Purdy does tonight, right? Like, if Purdy does well tonight against the Jets defense, you might completely change your mind on that. With that being said, I do always recommend rostering a quarterback with rushing upside, and Kyler Murray had a bad week 1 from a fantasy points perspective. He did have 57 rushing yards, so you like to see the rushing upside, but there just wasn't a whole lot of passing in the game, so I would try to upgrade Purdy into Kyler Murray if I was you. especially if he has a good night tonight. But like at the same time, if he has a good night tonight, it's like it's hard to want to sell him if he has a good night against the Jets because then you're going to be high on him, you know. But that's also when it's the best time to sell players. How long is K9 out? Do you know? Yeah, Kenneth Walker seems to be extremely injury prone at this point in his career. It's such a shame because he's such an unbelievable talent, but I don't know, man. It's like the dude can't really stay on the field, unfortunately. And they want to use him as a workhorse. They're going to be getting him a lot of volumes. I would say that his chance for injury is probably pretty high this year, like as far as like missing significant time. I hate to say that, but it's kind of just what it is. That's a good question, man. I think this game's going to be really good. No, I don't think it's a high scoring game. I think it's like more like middling, like 27-24, something like that. I'm going to go with the Jets. 27-24 Jets. Yeah, buddy. A.J. Brown, Anthony Richardson, Saquon, and Achane. Well, he's off to a darn good start. That's a stacked team. I don't know. You never know. It's fantasy. People are going to get hurt. He's not a lock yet. I hope you beat him, actually. I hope you beat him. Ask away fantasy football questions, everybody. As many as you got. Let's talk tonight's game. Or any game, honestly. Richardson is an injury hazard. Yeah, but you could say that for any rushing upside quarterback. I mean, any quarterback that rushes the ball at an elite level is an injury hazard. Josh Allen's an injury hazard. Jalen Hurts is an injury. They're all injury hazards if they have high rushing upside. The best players in fantasy are always risky because of injury. Christian McCaffrey's an injury hazard. You know, so you can't let it scare you away. Ask away, everybody. Just got offered Kyren for Tyreek. God, no. Not even close. You don't trade Tyreek Hill for anybody. Tyreek Hill is completely and utterly untradeable. Unless someone gave you, like, I don't know. I can't even think of it. Like, what would you trade for Tyreek Hill? I wouldn't accept anything for him. Appreciate y'all rolling in. I see we got a few more people joining. Ask away. Fantasy football questions. Week 1, week 2, whatever you want. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's going on? How we doing? Ask away. Fantasy football questions. Does the Big B usage worry you at all with ETN? Yes, it does. I don't like the fact that they had an equal number of carries. I mean, they both had 12 carries. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign whatsoever because at the beginning of the year last year, ETN was being used as just a straight-up workhorse, and Bigsby wasn't getting a whole lot of work. There were concerns going into the season last year that it would be a split backfield, but it wasn't. This year, it's looking like it's going to be more of a split backfield, so I don't like it. It's not a good sign. In fact, somebody asked me yesterday, like, if I would trade Aaron Jones straight up for Travis Etienne, and I said yes. And it might have been you, or it might have been somebody else, but like somebody asked me that, and I was just like, okay, like I'm kind of changing my mind and I kind of want to reverse course on that. I would not trade Aaron Jones straight up for Travis Etienne. Aaron Jones is playing in an offense where players are going to have to account for Justin Jefferson, right? So, like, he's going to be facing light boxes. He's known for being a running back with extreme yards per carry efficiency. Aaron Jones is the only running back in the entire NFL besides Nick Chubb with a 5+ yards per carry average on a 1,000+ carry sample size. So this is a dude who is extremely talented, and he's notoriously underrated. And he's a running back that's probably going to go off all season because he's going to be facing light boxes. And Sam Darnold's better than people think. Do you keep Puka or sell? Well, I wouldn't sell him. What are you going to sell him for right now? People don't want to buy an injured player, bro. They don't want to buy an injured player because, like, they're thinking in terms of wanting to get a good start to the season. So why would they want to buy a player that is out for the next month? I don't think you can sell him for anything good, bro. Ask away, everybody. As many fantasy football questions as you would like. Blow up the chat. The more questions, the better. October 20th is his. Oh my gosh! So he's out like 5 weeks, pretty much. Man, that is not good. It's really good for Cooper Kupp owners, and I have 19% Cooper Kupp on underdog. So while I don't root for injuries, this is definitely good for my best ball teams. So I'm not too mad at it. Joe Kingsley, any chance? What's up, Joe? I hadn't heard from you in a while. Any chance in hell Jordan Mason outscores Breece and Debo? There is no way in hell that happens. There's just no way. You must be in like a high stakes league. You must be playing for a lot of money if you're worried about that. This must be a high stakes league. I got you, Joe Kingsley. I got you, man. I wonder if Mason's going to get some touches tonight. Mason will get touches tonight. It's already been said that Christian McCaffrey is not going to be operating at 100%. So considering the fact that he's going to have a reduced workload, Jordan Mason's going to have to take some work. And they're probably also going to use Debo in the backfield as well. So how else you feeling about tonight, Joe? Feeling good? You're going to win. If your opponent has Jordan Mason and you have Breece and Debo, and you just need Breece and Debo to outscore Jordan Mason, you're going to win. Just my home league. My 3 keepers were CMC, Amon-Ra. Is he really? I didn't even see that. When did this report come out that CMC is inactive? Huh. Oh, it just came out. Yeah, I was about to say, like, it had to have just come out. Oh my gosh. In one of my big money leagues, I picked up Jordan Mason off the waiver wire because my opponent had Christian McCaffrey tonight. And I was kind of worried that was like not the right move, but it turns out that it was the right move. CMC is out. Wow. Well, those obviously have massive fantasy implications. It completely changes the way we look at tonight's game. Goodness gracious. Well, yeah, to answer your question now, Andre, I do think Jordan Mason's going to get some touches. Yeah, it definitely changes everything. Goodness gracious. Well, Jordan Mason might be a good plug and play tonight. I hope if you're a CMC owner that you have the foresight to go ahead and take Jordan Mason off of the waiver wire. Mason's like at 8 early. Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be higher now. Going to be much higher now. Welcome into the show, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Ask as many fantasy football questions as you can. Lineup questions, questions about tonight's game, what to do about CMC, what are we doing? We're talking about it all here. He's a solid running back. Yeah, I mean, solid. I'd give him that. And he's obviously running behind, a good offensive line and a good offense. The San Francisco 49ers, even without, are still an absolutely loaded offense. I mean, they have Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel, and George Kittle. I mean, this is an absolutely loaded offense. Even without CMC, one of the most loaded offenses in the NFL. So panic on Kelce yet or not? Nah, bro. Hell no. Travis Kelce, we have like an 8-year sample size of Travis Kelce being great. The only thing that we really have to worry about is the fact that he's a little bit older, but he's going to function well as a byproduct of being in a Pat Mahomes-led offense. So I think that Travis Kelce is going to be good rest of season. And I think he's a great buy low target right now. In fact, if you watch my buy low trade targets video from earlier today, I had Travis Kelce as one of my best buy low candidates on the season right now. If you can buy low on Travis Kelce, do it in a heartbeat. What's up? Welcome in. I see we got a few more of you rolling in. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate you tuning into the show. Drop your questions in the comments section, and I will answer as many fantasy football questions as you have. Ask away, everybody. Yeah, no need to panic week one. I think that panicking over any player in week one is absolutely ridiculous, except for Mark Andrews. I am panicking on Mark Andrews. I don't like to. Yes, Kels, it is Jordan Mason time. I am so glad I picked him up off the waiver wire, not because I plan on using him tonight, because my lineup, everybody's already played, but because my opponent has Christian McCaffrey, and now he has nobody to pivot to. So I'm glad I did it. Mike Williams, any interest in him? For tonight's game, do you mean tonight's game specifically? It is Jordan Mason time. Kels, you must either be playing against someone with Christian McCaffrey or you must have Jordan Mason and you're going to plug him in. One of those two, because you're fired up about it. So I know it's one of those two scenarios. Yeah, Andre, from a season-long standpoint, I'm okay on Mike Williams. I wouldn't say that I'm particularly excited about him. We're going to have to see how the target share is distributed with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers, healthy together for the first time. And we're going to have to see how they distribute the targets to Malachi Corley. There's just a few factors right now that I want to see kind of take place before I start Mike Williams with any sort of real confidence. All right, y'all. I got some guests coming over, so I'm going to be logging on out of here. I appreciate y'all tuning into the live stream. I'm going to be live streaming a ton this year, so make sure that you're tuning in, and I'm going to be giving y'all answers to all of your fantasy football questions. Anyway, y'all enjoy the game tonight. Have fun. Does Debo get a bump in the running game? Yeah, 100%. Debo's definitely going to get a bump in the running game. I mean, like, years where the 49ers didn't have Christian McCaffrey and all their running backs were hurt, they were always using Debo Samuel as a running back and kind of that hybrid wide receiver running back. So I think that Debo is going to get a huge bump in the run game, bro. Like, you can start him tonight with confidence. He's probably going to go off. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in, and I will catch y'all later.